Welcome to the 9 at 9 for Thursday, February 13th. I am going to get my mic plugged in after I got started, which is not good. Let's get going here. See if that works. Not the smoothest start. Thank you for that. Appreciate that. Testing, testing. Better now? Please tell me. Better? I hope so. I'm seeing green lights, so I think the audio is working, but I can't tell unless someone tells me. Yes, appreciate that. Thank you, Laura. So back to it. Welcome to the 9 at 9 for Thursday, February 13th, 2025. The mic was not plugged in. Then I scrambled to plug in the mic. I probably hit the mute button. And we're being flexible. We're moving and shaking. I bring you ideas and strategies every day, 9 a.m. Washington, D.C. time, to help you stay focused and tackle those big challenges. The idea today, the topic today, which I'm glad I found out about the audio because it would have been really bad, is risk taking. We're going to dig into this a little bit further in a bigger video because it's a big topic. I want to go through some ideas here and try some things out, and we'll get into it. I've been growing corporations for 30 years. I decided to start this platform to do just this: talk about taking risks, learning skills, and growing those careers of yours and making more money and accomplishing things. So, taking risks is something that I've been willing to do my whole life. I've had multiple times where I went entrepreneurial, and the results on occasion were positive, and then failures, but that's part of the process. And then you go back and you work and you go through that cycle again. I think honestly, in our younger days, I did it multiple times. I went, started a business, tried it out, tested things, had some success. Of course, it didn't turn out the way I hoped. Went back, got a job. And the point of taking risks like that, when you quit a job and challenge yourself to start a business, you are taking a risk. But too often people miscalculate that risk. They think the worst case scenario is some catastrophic reality of their lives. But the worst case scenario, if you quit your job and started a business and challenged yourself in that way, is that you'd have to go get another job. If you don't have confidence in yourself to get another job, if your business doesn't go well, then you're miscalculating the risk, right? Like you don't have confidence in yourself. And that's really where the problem is because the risk that you're taking to start something, the worst case scenario is you have to just go back and get another job. And the jobs are out there for you. So taking that risk to start something is just a matter of forecasting the amount of time that it would take for you to replicate the income that you have and then deciding, can you suffer through that period? My wife and I multiple times have talked about the fact that we will suffer through that. We are willing to do less. We are willing to travel less. We are willing to live in a smaller home. There was a time we moved from Denver to what is now our DC location 15 years ago. We sold everything. We literally cleared the house out. We had three little kids and two dogs, and we piled into a minivan pulling a little U-Haul trailer and traveled across the country. When we got to Virginia, where my family was, they couldn't believe the amount of stuff we had, meaning they could not believe that we had so little stuff, right? And the storage room that we were going to put our stuff in was so small that they started getting emotional about our reality that we had no stuff. But we were willing to have no stuff so that we could start anew and take a risk and take on life in that way. And we've never looked back. And we never had a concern because we measured the risk. The downside risk of us not making it is that we would have that 2-bedroom apartment. There was a time we lived in a small upstairs apartment in New York. It was a nightmare, but we suffered through it. So that's the worst case scenario in that instance. Now, calculated risks in different situations are what you do. Like, you calculate what the downside is, like I just said, but you don't take stupid risks, right? Like, stupid risks are in a sailboat. I was out crossing the ocean, and the guy that I was sailing with was like going right into the waves that were coming right at us in a stupid freaking way. Like, I said, you are putting us at a stupid risk. Like, there's no upside, right, to that move he was making, except challenging ourselves to try to, do something ridiculous. So those are stupid risks to take. So what I want to do is break down on this platform the calculated risks that make a lot of sense to you. The upside is huge, the potential is huge, and you should go for it, versus the risks that have limited potential, limited upside, and therefore don't do it, right? So massive risk I'm taking to start this platform, start this organization, and move on from a really comfortable situation is a calculated risk. I know the upside for me is so significant. I know the upside for us is so significant that I'm willing to do it, and I'm planning to do it, and it's a massive risk, right? But I've gone through the downsides. We're willing to do it. We're willing to suffer those downsides if they happen, which the probability is not that high, right? Because the upside is so significant. So when you're looking at risk taking, think about the upside. Think about what you're leaving on the table, if you will. Like, wherever you are right now, if you don't have growth opportunities, if you're not getting challenged, if you can't give all that you have, then take a risk and go to another place. It doesn't have to be an entrepreneurial thing. It could be another company where the upside is way better for you. And don't leave that money on the table anymore. Yesterday, I talked about taking control and owning your reality. That's what this is going to be about. Like, own your situation and understand that not taking the risk, not taking that chance is probably the biggest risk of all. Not doing it and just settling and being complacent where you are is probably, honestly, the biggest risk of all, and people don't even think about it. My company and a lot of my competitors are not leaning in on AI enough and not taking this as seriously as they should, and they're hesitant to do so because of the risk to using AI in an aggressive manner. But the risk of not using it, the risk of not doubling down with it, the risk of not making it a part of your day-to-day is the biggest risk of all. So that's what it's all about. I dig the topic. I'm glad the audio worked. I'm sorry for the beginning of this. It was not smooth. And I had a conversation this morning. I wanted to potentially talk about being flexible and adaptable on here, because I met someone on the way out of the gym this morning, and the conversation was killer. And I was like, man, my 9 at 9 is going to be late if I don't have that conversation. I mean, if I do keep talking to this guy, I'm definitely going to be late for this 9 at 9. But I was like, I think the viewers would appreciate that getting to know people and having those relationship moments are significant. And that is the flexibility that I'm going to bring, is when I'm meeting someone, when I'm in that relationship building mode, I'm going to be late. I'm going to do that, because it's so infrequently that I find people who can communicate well and listen and make eye contact and actually ask questions and seem actually interested in what I said, and vice versa. When you have those moments, be late. Be late for shit, because it is so hard to find those people. I can't hear you is because I can't hear people communicate in a normal way. Like, it's just so rare. People they're just in their phones. They just don't even know who's around them. But this was different. He was a good guy, and actually I'm looking forward to having more conversations with him. So that's the topic, risk taking. I'm here every day, like I said, 9 a.m. DC time. If you found me on YouTube Live Shorts, please, this is content that's continuous about this subject, so subscribe, check me out. I'm glad you found me. I love that people are sticking with it today, and I love the comments, love the likes. Appreciate it. I am winging it, and I have a video coming out today. Thanks again. Talk tomorrow. Let's grow every day together.